started.
Okay, MGI Blon or M Giblin. E4. Let's try a Sicilian. I'm gonna try to remember to play a con Sicilian if I can. Let's see. So for the con Sicilian, you play E6 right away, and then if they go for the exchange, play A6. And now if you play knight to C6, that's the somebody else's Sicilian. I can't think of the name right now. But this is the con Sicilian with queen C7. You're avoiding knight C6. And you can get in the move knight F6. Because you've defended the E5 square there. And you can also develop the bishop. The bishop can go to it can go to C5 or to B4. Maybe C5. Put a little pressure on that knight. Nobody is defending the knight at the moment, so. Also prepares the way for black to castle. So anyway, it's kind of an interesting way to play the Sicilian, different from normal Sicilian lines, different ideas. I know this bishop d3 move is one of the traditional ways of playing it. I don't know what the response. Yeah, that's probably a good response. Just drop back. So let's keep the bishop on this diagonal, looking at his king. Maybe prepare or allow. I want to allow b5, so I don't want to put the bishop on b3 there. And now I can play knight c6 without being harassed. It was interesting. You get to keep all your pieces on. Knight c6, bishop to b7 after a b5 push. It looks pretty comfortable. And knight c6 also at this point also continues to help prevent the e5 move. At some point I may need to play d6 here also to help control this e5 square. He goes for that pin. It's not a pin, actually. He's just putting a little pressure on the knight. But, actually, that's an interesting question. Because I can only take back with a pawn. And the knight doesn't have any really good squares to go to. So maybe that's something I played wrong. Let's get the knight out here and allow him to take. See if he wants to take. Okay, he's thinking about it. He probably should take. Yeah, why not? Why not damage my pawns? But I'm going to get my rook to the G file here. Get a bishop looking on this diagonal. And my king, I think, will just stay in the center for a while. So he brings his queen out and puts pressure. That's interesting. It immediately attacks the the h pawn, so I can't play rook g1, and it pins the f pawn. Okay, I'm still going to go with b5 and bishop to b7, I think. We'll see what his follow-up is. He can't really chase the knight away. The knight at some point might drop back to g6. He could drop his queen back to h4 and hit my f pawn. That would be an interesting way to play. I might go queen back to d8 to defend it. It would be either queen d8 or king e7. Okay, so he attacks it in a different way. So queen d8, he plays queen to g7. I play knight to g6. And am I ever getting his queen out of there? How about king e7? And if he plays queen to g7, then I can defend with my queen. Or with bishop b7 defends the rook as well. Yep. So I can just bring a rook over to b8 or g8 now. Chase his queen away. And you know, all his pieces are on the other side of the board. So it's kind of interesting. My king is in the middle, so maybe there's a problem here eventually. But well, it looks like I can get quick pressure on the g file, huh? Rook g1 and knight to f3 is a threat, isn't it? Knight f3 check, taking advantage of the pin and winning an exchange at least. Okay, well, I caused my opponent to think with my unusual play here. It's an advantage, I guess. There's sometimes ideas of sacrificing against the pawn on b5. It's holding his pieces in check. You know, he could give up the knight or the bishop to get an active piece here. But, well, like, for example, if he were to sack the knight here and have a bishop and a rook pointing at this square. But even so, right now it's defended by the knight. Yeah, so he decided to run away with the queen immediately. Not a bad choice here. So let's get that g-file pressure going. He can drop his queen back to h3 or h5 to defend the f6 square. But I can just double on the g file, if nothing else. Oh, there was another idea here I didn't notice till now. But you know, my bishop has got the f-pawn pinned, and knight to g4 there is a fork. It hits the queen and it hits the f-pawn. Could have played that the last move, right? Instead of rook to g8, I could have played it right here. And where does his queen go? His queen could go here to defend, but so yeah, so he's already in trouble. Interesting. Well, he's taking a mighty long time. How much? He spent a minute on that move, minute and a half on that move, and a minute and a half on this one. That will chew up your time pretty quick. It's a tough situation, though. I don't know how he deals with all the threats. Knight g5 also threatens on knight g4. I mean, knight g4 also threatens on h2. Oh, but his queen's guarding h2. Yeah, so the main threat was knight g4, forking the queen and the pawn. So that just gives up the pawn. But rook here, you may get pressure on f6. So I take the pawn, he plays rook to f1, and if I move the bishop, I don't have a square to move the bishop to that defends this pawn, so then I lose this guy. So let's go ahead and throw in the the rook move, chase the queen back, see where it wants to go. Yeah, maybe, once again, maybe knight g4 was even more interesting. Knight g4 would have allowed me to take. I'm not sharp today. But, well, I seem to have gotten an interesting position anyway, but I've had better days. Let's see, his connection is lagging too. But he's actually spending a lot of time thinking. And either that or he's disconnected. Sometimes you get this lag and it's a disconnect. And let me check one thing here just to make sure I'm still connected. Yeah, it looks like I'm still connected. Well, I hope... Okay, there he goes. Okay, so knight g4 now. He went all the way back there. No, I could just play bishop f2 now. And he plays rook f1, and then what? And then maybe knight g4, defending the bishop and opening up this line towards his king. Maybe even thinking about, yeah, that looks good. Sorry. Wrong bishop. Bishop takes f2. So I'm expecting rook to f1, knight to g4, and knight to g4 defends the bishop. And then, do I have the threat? Yeah, I have the threat of rook to rook to h6, because if queen takes knight, I have queen takes h2, checkmate. So I think he's in big trouble here. And it's important to get rid of that f2 pawn, because I thought he could play f3 at some point and try and, or even f4 to block the diagonal, or f3 to try and kick away the bishop and shut down my light squared bishop. So I think that's an okay way I played it there. And I don't know how he meets the threat of rook h6. He kind of ignores it. Oh no, he didn't ignore it. He closed the diagonal. So I take here with the queen. Keeping the threat. Then he grabs the rook. That's his idea. Okay, well that's pretty good. Let's see, I can't take with this pawn because of the queen will take my rook. And that's he's still on this, so I have to take with this pawn. I gave up the exchange here. Now he's taking... yeah, now I don't have a rook on the h file. I can just take my knight. Oh, that's terrible. My. So yeah, I totally missed that. Like I said, I'm just not sharp today. Let's back out. I need to get the bishop out of trouble. And what is it? I've got two bishops. He's got two knights. Yeah, I'm just down a rook here. I have some pawns. Terrible. If only my rook were on h6 instead of h8. Okay, yeah, he wants to trade queens, and naturally, let's see, queen here to get on this diagonal maybe. But then I lose this pawn. This is terrible. Let's see, are there any other tricks here? Like the check. Bishop there, check. Just is not doing anything. Okay, I will threaten his queen, force the exchange. Anyway, we'll know where we stand here. But yeah, pretty clearly losing for me. How many pawns did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7. I only have 2 pawns for a rook. Well, I have the bishop pair. I will play on. My bishops are still pointing at his king. I just need to get my rook on the other side of this h pawn. Maybe just h4, h5, h4, h3. Push like that. Okay, well, I hope he moves fast enough to win the game. If he moves so slowly that he loses, I'm gonna take the win. Because well, these games have lots of time. There's even an increment, so I don't have to feel guilty about winning on time here. Okay, well, he's playing on increment now. He can probably just sack the exchange here. Let's see, and then I would have a rook and bishop against 2 knights, and I'd have the extra pawns. Yeah, let's allow the exchange sack if he wants to do that.
White forfeits on time.
Yeah, he needed to move instantly, and he was having trouble making up his mind. Okay, well, that was definitely a time win. He was clearly winning there. But, well, I'll look at that in the postmortem. I think I had winning chances there, too. I think I had a pretty good attack. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave any comments you have in the section below, and I will see you again soon. Bye.